Before we start, I'm going to apologise for the echo and the fact that I've moved. It's because the house is being decorated, so I'm over in the middle of the room and there's nothing else in here. That's why it sounds like crap. Let's begin. Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport. The Macau Grand Prix is one of the final events of the year for the younger stars of the junior single-seater career ladder to really show a little something. But they have a little spark that makes them stand out in a large crowd of drivers, all wanting to prove themselves. Whilst the likes of Max Verstappen, Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton never won the Macau Grand Prix, other legends of the past did, including Michael Schumacher, Ayrton Senna, Riccardo Patrese, Ralf Schumacher, David Coulthard and others. In 2024 we have another batch of drivers taking to the tight, twisting streets of Macau to try and win the Macau Grand Prix. So let's go through team by team and have a look at all the drivers taking part. And at the end, I'll throw in a prediction of who I think will win in 2024. This will be the first time the race is run under Formula Regional instead of Formula 3 or Formula 4 in an emergency. That's going to add another layer of intrigue. We shall see if a change in cars does anything for this famous race. So make sure you subscribe for this, the other Macau content incoming, and everything else coming up on Frontrunner Motorsport. And let's jump into the video. MP Motorsport. The Dutch team have a variety of Formula 2 and 3 drivers to choose from, as well as drivers from other series MP compete in. And they have done that. It's just maybe not the 3 I would have chosen. Oliver Gerfer has recently joined MP in Formula 2, and in his first 4 starts hasn't had a great time for the team. But he is a Formula 3 race winner and finished 9th at Macau in 2023. He is actually one of the most experienced drivers competing in 2024. Valerio Rinicella was not a standout in Formula Regional Europe. In fact, he crashed a lot, which doesn't bode well at Macau. He finished 20th overall in Formula Regional Europe, and my money is on him crashing on lap 1 at Lisboa. They also have 16-year-old Spanish F4 champion Matteo Carnaggi. Might be big hopes for him in the future, but right now, he's very young, inexperienced driver, and this will be a learning experience at best. Strange lineup, as I said, for MP. If I had to pick 3 drivers for them, I would have gone for Javier Segura, Nikita Bedrin and Tim Tramnitz. But maybe they weren't available. Our Ace GP. I have been very harsh about Ugo Ugochukwu this year. He was a major disappointment in Formula Regional Europe, even if he did take his first win at the final round. He finished the year outside the top 10, and well behind his Prima teammates. He also crashed in last year's Macau Grand Prix, so it would be easy to write him off for this one. But not so fast, because I do think he'll do better. He won't win, I don't think, but I can see him being in with a shout at a podium. Joining him for our race is Tuukka Tarppanen. The Finn was the only driver to really challenge Rafael Kamara for the Formula Regional Europe Championship, but his form at the last 9 races meant he dropped to 3rd overall. The Finn is a class driver though, and like Ugochukwu, could be up and around the top places. I almost expect a fight between Tarppanen, Ugochukwu and Wharton. These 3 have been inseparable for the last 3 years. Our race also have Enzo Deligny. The Frenchman was another who raced in Formula Regional Europe. He's not a weak link in this team. He finished just behind Ugochukwu in the Formula Regional Europe. But I see him more as a midfield spectator here. KCMG IXO by Pinnacle Motorsport. The Hong Kong and Irish teams joined forces for this assault on Macau, which is nice to see. KCMG rarely step outside of Japan these days, but they have 2 cars here at Macau. Mari Boyer is a Spanish driver who has spent the last couple of years racing in Formula 3. He took a win in 2023 for Campos, but only finished 15th overall. He'll be back with Campos again in 2025, but I don't see him doing anything special here. Noel Leon was a real surprise in Formula 3 in 2024. I even said the Mexican is one of the best drivers from that nation right now. He was a regular on the podium, has real potential to go far in this sport. Whilst Mari Boyer finished 4th here last year and Noel Leon was down in 19th, I think those positions will essentially be switched in 2024. Santalok Racing. Teofil Nile has only ever raced for Santalok Racing, and he has done pretty well in his 3 years of car racing. The 2023 Spanish Formula 4 champion was decent in Formula Regional Europe in 2024, 9th overall, and he took a win. This is his first go at Macau, and he could be a real surprise player. Joining him is a Russian Jordan driver, Alexander Abkazava, racing under a Kazakh racing licence. He's been racing in the Euro Cup 3 Series in 2024 and was not exactly a big player, 9th overall, and in his young career he has never won a race. That is unlikely to change during his first attempt around the Macau street circuit, but he might be the best driver to race under a Kazakhstan race licence ever, so that's something he could be proud of. ART Grand Prix. Our 3rd and final French team on the grid, ART, have 3 cars on the grid for this one. James Wharton had a great end to the Formula Regional Europe Series, climbing to 2nd overall. and getting a drive with ART in Formula 3 next year. He's a great driver and one that should be kept in mind for the win here, but he is also occasionally crash happy, and at Macau, that is a bigger risk than most circuits, even more so than Monaco. One to watch, but you might be watching him win or crash at the first corner. Evan Gilter was another that impressed in Formula Regional Europe, 7th overall for ART, and a win in the second race of the year. The 2023 Formula 4 France champion is only 17 years old and could be an interesting one. Put him on the potential surprise list. Whilst Kanato Lee is the weakest of the three drivers, he was pretty poor in Formula Regional Europe. He's never been a top driver in any series he's participated in. This could be a tough one. All three of these drivers will be attempting the Macau Grand Prix for the first time in 2024. It's very hard to know where any of them will end up. This is the most boom or bust team on the grid. Tom's Formula, an all-Japanese lineup for the Japanese team that just took the Super Formula title last weekend for the second year in a row. Rikuto Kobayashi is not related to Kamui Kobayashi, but the esports star and Japanese Formula 4 champion has been racing in Super Formula Lights and has been decent enough. Joining him is another Super Lights driver in Jin Nakamura. Nakamura finished second to Kobayashi in Japanese F4 and is currently ahead of him in Super Formula Lights. So these two are a close match, but they have never raced against their European counterparts, nor at Macau, so this is going to be an interesting one to see where they end up. Kiwi Motorsport. Why is Jet bowling here? He wasn't even good in Formula Regional Americas. He has also raced in Formula Regional Oceania and Europe, so he is at the very least familiar with the equipment. I'd be surprised if he didn't finish last. PHM Racing. The German team always makes strange driver choices. Remember when Josh Mason raced in Formula 2? I wonder what he's doing now. For the Macau Grand Prix, they have chosen a trio of really mid drivers. Rashid Al-Dahari has won a couple of Formula 4 races, but isn't anything special. He was a midfield driver in Italian F4 for the second year in a row, and was anonymous in Euro 4. Matteo De Palo finished 17th overall in Formula Regional Europe, with a best 4th place finish, and Ricky Liu was even worse, so it looks like they just picked 3 people at random. SJM Theodore Prema Racing. Dino Bogdanovic is going to be racing in Formula 2 for Dams at the final 2 rounds in 2024, and probably next year as well. That shocks me because this once hyped youngster has really been put through the mill after 2 mediocre years in Formula 3 with Prema, finishing 6th overall both times and with only 2 wins to his name. He was quick at Macau last year, qualifying 3rd and finishing 4th in the qualifying race, but then he crashed out of the main race, and that sort of sums up his career for me. But if he can keep it out of the walls, then yes, he is quick around Macau, and is not a total flop. But if you want to talk future stars with a boatload of potential, then Freddie Slater is your guy. The 2024 Italian and UAE champion, as well as runner-up in the Euro 4 series, is almost guaranteed for success. He'll be racing for Prema in Formula Regional European next year, but he'll be in Formula 3 by year's end, and could even be worthy of the Andrea Kimi Antonelli treatment on his way up to Formula 1. This is his first time around Macau, but he takes to everything so quickly I wouldn't be shocked if he took the win. Alex Dunn is also a really good driver. He did some really good things in Formula 3 this year, but he wasn't consistent and only finished 14th in the championship. On his day though, he is rapid, and like Bogdanovic, he was quick in qualifying, but crashed in the race last year. So all 3 of these drivers are capable of taking the win at Macau, and honestly, keep an eye on Freddie Slater. His rise through the junior formulas is going to be fascinating. I reckon he'll be in Formula 1 before 2030. Evans GP. The Australian team have entered 3 cars into this one. One for Macau local Thiago Rodriguez, who is the 2023 Formula 4 China champion, and has a win in Formula 4 Australia in 2024. He has local knowledge, but he doesn't have a CV on par with many in this race. Cooper Webster is a race winner in the now defunct S5000 series, and the first Indian F4 champion. He's never faced a challenge like this or a grid as reputable as this one. And Kai Dariani is a Formula 4 level driver who is yet to make a mark anywhere. None of these drivers will feature near the top 10, and if they do, I'll try to drown myself in cereal. TGM Grand Prix. Our final team is the Japanese Team Go outfit, and they have 2 Japanese drivers on their books for the Macau Grand Prix. Sota Ogara is the 2023 Formula Regional Japan champion, but has been quiet in 2024, only turning up for a few Super Formula Lights races. It's a bit of a surprise to see his name listed here, and Rintaro Sato has only done 10 F4 Japan races, so this is something of a baptism of fire for him. Feels like an experimental effort from Team Go, and one with good results put on the back burner. No idea how either of these guys will do, but I imagine not well. So they are all the teams and drivers taking part in this year's Macau Grand Prix. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think will win the Macau Grand Prix in 2024? No previous winners in the field this time round, so we are guaranteed a first time winner. For me, it's hard to look away from the trio of Tuukka Tarpinen, James Wharton and Ugo Ugochukwu. These three are destined to dance together till the end of time. I think we'll see a win for the Finn, Tuukka Tarpinen, becoming the first driver from Finland to win the Macau Grand Prix. But picking the winner of the Macau Grand Prix is always tricky because who knows what will happen on the streets. It is always a race that throws up surprises. Predictions for the other big races have to give one of the touring car races to Rob Huff. That's basically written into Macau law these days. The other and a championship winning drive for Norbert Mikelitz. And whilst the easy answer for the GT World Cup would be Eduardo Mortara, I'm going to go for Jules Gounon doing it for Andorra. So we'll see what happens this weekend. Make sure you subscribe for more motorsport content and Macau content. Thank you very much for watching and have a good one.